Hi friends, how you doing? Crypto technical analysis coming right at your pie holes. My name's Rocky Outcrop. Hope you're doing well. This is the best channel for crypto technical analysis on YouTube, and that's why we do it all the time. There's the Rolls Royce chart. We also look at other stuff here. This is the Bitcoin USDT chart that I'm bringing up right now. You can see the current prices of this thing in at 47k, 47,700, being consolidating in and around about this zone over the weekend. Yes, the drawings here are a little bit hard to see, everything being a big old mess in here, but this is the range that we've got. Staying above that Ichimoku cloud is going to be good. I'll get rid of the drawing so you can see it a bit clearer. Staying above this Ichimoku cloud is going to be good for us, right? 46,800, decent stuff. Pushing down the way, I'm going to expect the best buy price, the next best buy price to be coming in at 40k, or perhaps, if we need to push down a little bit down towards the 33,000. Wow, I know, right? 47 to 33. What a ridiculous range that is. That's because we've got the 2-day Ichimoku cloud open there behind us. If I jump down towards the 1-day, you can see actually there's very effing little support here at all. And you would be looking down towards that 40k region where you find that cloud again, coming back in again, begin again, again. And here we have the 4-hour time frame showing us that we've actually already started to dive into that cloud. Taking this thing out would be bad. $47,000 seems to be coming up again and again and again in terms of being a support for us. Hi. What's going on over here? High. No, that's not as high. Oh, wait a minute. What would this latest high? That's not as high. Interesting that there would be higher highs on price action. Higher highs on price action. Whoops, wrong button. Higher highs on price action over here. Right. And weirdly enough, for some reason, I don't get it, but for some reason there's downs on the RSI. Anyway, that's not what you would expect to see on that one, is it? Weird. What's that all about? Let me know in the comments down below what that's all about. I'd love to know. I've never had a name for that before. It'd be cool if there was a name for, to explain that sort of that divergence between those two different angles there. So let me know if you know what the name for that is in the comments down below this thing. Thanks. Ethereum, yeah, kicking about in the same sort of regions, right? So same chat that we've had before. This consolidation continues in the meantime. If we do actually want to push up or down, then we're going to have to wait for that break, if you like. The actual return of volume. Let me just point out then, I suppose, for just now, that what we're looking at is this diminishing volume throughout this thing, and what we need to see, of course, is a big volume candle. Okay, let's look for the direction the price moves whenever that happens. Let's jump on over to Chainlink here. Link USDT. And at this point, by the way, I'll just give you a quick reminder that I'm actually going to talk about staking for a couple of minutes at the end of this little bit of TA. So we're flying through the TA like here, no problem. Current prices on Chainlink in there sub $25, right? $25. What does that mean, Rocky? Well, $25 is actually a pivot point for us right here, right now. But thankfully, you can see actually as well, wow, that lines up perfectly with where we left this off. Considering I haven't looked at this chart now for 3 days, that's quite nice to see. That, of course, this is finding where our support is right in here, right now. Now, can we actually push on up the way? Let's see if we've got any more of that weird lack of correlation between these 2 points just here. And anyway, no, it doesn't seem so. We have got this other thing on the go over here, though, where we have a flash in the background of the DMI. This is called the Rocky Outcrop Flash. It's called the Rocky Outcrop Flash, that thing. That happens on the 24th of August at 4 p.m. that it ended. And bring up the price action the 24th of August at 4 p.m. here. Oh, I can see that that's already been fulfilled. Damn. Well, that would have been nice if that was the case. Anyway, we know that this is a big inflection point. The market's up above as well, 2660. I realistically think that if we can actually open up above and close up above 2660, or we have a couple of confluencing factors, this Fibonacci level here and the Ichimoku cloud itself, then we're flying, then we're pod racing, then we're looking back up towards higher targets. First off, $31, but actually that's not even true. That's not even true though, actually. See, because if we take out the 31 to 33 range, we're taking out the area that we bounced back up to after the drop down. 33 being very important as well on the way up. Whenever we were finding a lot of resistance in here, a lot of profit taking, big struggles in the prices, we actually saw them dropping all the way back down, losing a 30% of their price value in that time when we were on the way up here. So, struggles in this zone, take that out, boom, then we're on the way up looking towards 45. $45 would be where I'd be looking to, $40 to $45 at least. Then, so good times could be had on this one. But what it starts off is like, can we put in? Can we not take out 24? If we take out 24, then I'm actually looking all the way down to $20. There could obviously be a bounce at 22, and I'd anticipate that, and I'd be looking to see if I could carry that momentum past any sort of pivot points. The thing about it is, if we go down to 24, it's worth mentioning, and I'm dragging time on a bit longer, but if we go down to 24, then we'd have a wedge on the go like this, so like just look out for that, right? Ethereum, no, not that guy. XTZ, you know what, actually screw it, Tezos people, if you want me to take a look at Tezos, let's just look at Tezos real quick, so for my own benefit, because this is good. So XTZ, UTZ over here, USD. Oh wow, $6, fantastic, great, good on us. Well, we've done this. We've done a 300% rise in the value of this thing since June. If you've been watching along with the channel, that's right, 300% rise in the value of this thing since June. If you've been watching along with the channel, perfectly described for you. Perfectly described for you. In fact, look even at this bit here where we talked about that, and whoa, perfectly described all the way along. Wow, fantastic. Now we even did that. I think I was aiming towards 580 where that red line is, pushed all the way up towards $6. Nice round number. Pulled back down to this point here. I'm a little bit concerned about this thing in terms of whether or not it needs to come back to the cloud at this stage. Best buy price on this one, 489. 489 best buy price on this one. Next targets, if we're going to go for them. By the way, of course, there's going to be some divergence in here. I mean, look at this divergence, right? There's going to be DMI showing us the divergence so clearly. As we come back down, looking for this thing to drop back down, the ADX to drop back down below 40, take out the 40 line, for us to come in here and come in, and for us to again get Rick and Morty lips at this point here, and then continue on up the way, having gone into 480 from having been in at $6. So let's just see if we can continue that on up the way later, and then of course we're looking towards 660 or so, I think, thereafter. Let me just check on this one. Let's just see if that actually ends up being the case. In about 660, actually it's probably more, it is actually closer to $7. What have we got in here? 630 to 640. Oh, what was this as well, this liquidity zone? How well did that work? Not quite well enough, but I can leave that on there. So yeah, cool, excellent, nice one. That's that one. What did I look at? Dot. How far am I into this recording? Let me just check here real quick. There's plenty of time left, of course, on this one. Let's see, 7 minutes into this one. Okay, cool. So we'll just do a couple of minutes here. Look at Polkadot versus Binance, on Binance versus USDT, and then we will, what are we doing? $24. Got a similar setup to Chainlink here. Yeah, similar setup to Chainlink in terms of these lows. Looking at the lows, looking at the oscillators down below. How are we doing here? Has this got hidden bullish divergence? Not quite. So close with that distribution. Hidden bullish divergence on the well, we're putting in a higher low over here on the accumulation distribution. Would be very interesting to see right now. It's very close to having that. In fact, maybe we could shoot on up from this area. I'm looking for this to actually be a nice turnaround, but I'm only going to be taking profits again at about 10% up from where we are. We actually need to take out the 28, 29 area for me to be looking up. But the next target up above is $31. So so that's that. Whoa. Yeah, okay, cool. Actually, we're so close here. Similar sort of thing as Chainlink. Right, cool. Similar sort of thing as Chainlink. Right, so just a couple of minutes on staking then before I end the show. So staking, I was asked to talk about staking. What is staking? Staking, you can buy a cryptocurrency, right? And then you can stake it. Staking it essentially locks it up in a contract. A smart contract. What's a smart contract? It's a piece of code, exists on the internet, and it's better and smarter and more wonderful than your mobile banking application in terms of how it thinks about where you're sending money in the background, because your mobile banking stuff is all determined by like a group of people out there in the world, and they can just change the numbers and things, whereas smart contracts exist independently of that, without the actual sort of trust element between the two counterparties in any situation. So what you're actually able to do as well is you're able to stake it. Now, if you stake things, it means that you're committing network resources. So for instance, you might have a coin which likes to talk about itself like it is it gives you networking resources in exchange for staking it, that you can then use yourself for launching and running dApps, which are decentralized applications. So those apps that you've got on your phone that work through the internet, etc., as normal, you can also get decentralized applications that work on phones, computers, etc. And instead of having a single server out there in the world that contains all the data, it's decentralized across the different people and doesn't work through the internet as such. It works through the blockchain, which is kind of cool and interesting because, of course, that is immutable. Now, I'm slightly aware of the fact this is actually almost becoming too esoteric too quickly. Scrap that. right? You've got banks. You can put money into your bank, right? And if you put money into your bank, it means that you've committed your network resources of money in terms of like, okay, I'm not going to spend it all on ice creams and Coca-Cola this weekend. I'm going to leave it in the bank over the next couple of weeks. And that gives the bank the security of knowing that not everybody's going to just to cancel them as a customer, and it gives them security as well in that sense. And similarly, you can do the same thing. So say you own a whole bunch of some coin, you could stake it. Now that staking it maybe commits network resources and value towards this particular activity that you're doing. And that activity might have an outcome. That activity might be providing price data for some other exchange to some other exchange, etc. That sort of thing. It might be doing that, and it's these network resources that you're actually locking up to dedicate towards doing those tasks. And as a result of doing that, you get given money back. Now there's other types of things that you can do which are similar to staking but aren't actually staking, such as you can get rewards for providing liquidity on decentralized exchanges. What's the liquidity providing? What's a decentralized exchange? Oh my god, so complicated. But basically the premise of DeFi is that as opposed to two parties exchanging with each other, interacting normally through a counterparty, by the way. So if you buy off the NYSE a stock, there's a counterparty in the middle. It's not actually you trading versus me. Likewise, it's the way that most common crypto exchanges work these days. But when they did start, they actually started off with being direct one-to-one counterparty. Now, interestingly, there's this decentralized exchange thing where one person can buy and sell a resource with another person, and it works by, but they don't actually buy it with the other person. The counterparty, instead of being a single organization like an exchange, which can take money from you and manage it, or like a brokerage that can manage this and get their own margin, their own way, where they make money for providing the service. It's actually provided to people decentralized through liquidity pools. So it's like Kickstarter in a sense that everybody's like, hey, let's chuck our money in together. Then if somebody wants to buy or sell it, there'll be the money there, to be the counterparty against them. Then somebody else can come along and be the counterparty, and we'll be a collective group together as the counterparty that provides liquidity to all these different people. And there'll be a tiny, tiny, tiny little fee for that, and we'll coop that up. And we're providing then security to the basis of the price by providing liquidity. And liquidity, of course, as we know, when there's a lack of liquidity, can lead to abrupt and sudden changes in price and increased volatility. So if you provide that service of giving liquidity and then, of course, provide price stability and, of course, expectation management and all the rest of it, then you are, of course, rewarded for doing so. And that's the two main types of staking that people think about. Now, staking really originally in that is giving your network resources back to the blockchain itself in order to recoup a fee. And then there's a second type. Now, there's a third type that's worth mentioning, which is the constant staking that happens. Now, things like Algorand do that, where you don't actually have to do anything on your coins, they're just in your wallet, but they're staked and you're getting given rewards. Now, actually, when you're in a situation like that, those things are just simply called inflation rewards, okay? Inflation rewards. And I think it's actually worth mentioning here as well for people who are interested in blockchain. Worth mentioning, but not something that you will even be recognized if you go on to talk about it with somebody else. You can talk to Gary Gensler, the so-called expert, and he himself won't even necessarily know this, is that the blockchain reward inside Bitcoin that you get for mining it and giving out to people, that's given out to people as a result of mining Bitcoin, is actually called a trying to think of the bloody word because I can't remember now. It's that word whenever you pay towards something. It's not, so you are, what's the word for it again? Like all the cows, the farms in England, subsidized. It's a subsidy, right? So it's actually, as opposed to necessarily a payment and a reward, it's actually compensation, right? And that's a distinction that needs to be not needs to be, but should be understood, because it's not like the gold mine that you've whacked your pickaxe into turns around and says, oh yeah, that was so much hard work, I'm going to compensate you by giving you this. Instead, you're digging for rewards, and that's not actually what's happening in the blockchain network. So in the same sense that whenever these other networks came out that don't use proof of work, so your computer electricity resources aren't going into doing this thing and you're being rewarded because you spent electricity to mine Bitcoin, you get Bitcoin back, and it's a reward, but it's not. It's actually a subsidy. What you're getting, and that's written into the code by, freaking Sunzuki Nakamura, the guy that invented Bitcoin. Hail, hail. And yeah, the proof of stake, which is opposite to proof of work. So when Bitcoin is this proof of work thing, and then there's the other one's proof of stake, which is a different way of securing the network. is then you're rewarded and subsidized for doing that through staking, where you dedicate your resource towards it. And that's how staking works. And I suppose if you want to kind of think to yourself, well, that's interesting, I understand some of these concepts, I want to understand it a bit more, then you can look into how Ethereum is transitioning from a proof of work blockchain to a proof of stake blockchain. And you can look at other things like Tezos, which is of course the a really great liquid proof of stake network, and you can look at other things like EOS and like DigiCat, whatever one's like that guy that set up EOS. I can't remember his name off the top of my head right now. Set up, because he's the one that kind of came up with proof of stake as a concept and stuff like that. Interesting stuff, good stuff. My phone's ringing. That could mean that I've been cut off. Interesting. I'll go check that. I've made my episode though. Stop recording.